Hi friends, good morning. Welcome to Eng-lane English classroom. In this video we discuss the snake and the mirror. The second unit in SSLC English, second lesson in first unit in SSLC English. Friends, I hope you remember the story The Snake and the Mirror, don't you? Who was the protagonist? That was a homeopath, a doctor. What happened when the doctor was sitting on his chair? A snake landed on his shoulder and it coiled around his left arm above the elbow. How did the doctor react then? He didn't jump or tremble. He sat like a strong image. You have to answer it with me, okay? And why did he feel that he was a stupid doctor? Because in case or if a snake struck him, there were no any medicine with him, so he thought he was a foolish and stupid doctor. And then when the snake moved towards the mirror, what did he do? He stood up and jumped into the yard. You remember all these things. Now, very nice dears. And he says, from there I leapt into the yard and ran for all I was worth. You know what is all I was worth? What is all I was worth? That is his life. Doctor says, where might he have gone? Right? Please listen to the audio and find out what he did after that incident. You don't forget to note where the audio ends. Ready, yes? Okay, shall I play?
Each of us have this sigh of relief. All of us with babies. Somebody asked, Doctor, is your wife very fat? No, the doctor said, go well otherwise. My life companion is a thin, reedy person with the gift of a sprinter. Someone else asked, Doctor, when you ran, did the snake follow you? The doctor replied, I ran and ran till I reached a friend's house. Immediately, I smeared oil all over myself and took a bath. I changed into fresh clothes. The next morning, at about 8:30, I took my friend and one or two others to my room to move my things from there. But we found we had little to carry. Some thief had removed most of my things. The room had been cleaned up, but not really. The thief had left behind one thing as a final insult. What was that? I asked. The doctor said, my vest, the dirty one. The fellow had such a sense of cleanliness. The rascal could have taken it and used it after washing it with soap and water. Did you see the snake the next day, doctor? The doctor laughed. I have never seen it since. It was a snake which was taken with its own beauty.
Okay, yes, I think you have listened and you have seen where the audio ends. Now see, where did he go? Simply, I have got it, to his friend's house. What did he do then? He smeared oil all over his body and he took a bath and changed his clothes. When we come back next morning, 8:30, who were there with him then? There were his friends or someone else were there. Let us see. What did he see then? Can you remember? Did he see the snake again? Okay, try to answer. Please look at the pictures. See, this is doctor's house. You can see this one, and this is doctor. He is going to somewhere. Now see this one. Please observe this part. What were there in the first videos or the first picture? Now what is the were there with him. What's the time now? Okay, let us analyze those pictures. What's the doctor doing in the first picture? He is going to his friend's house. You might have got it. And do you think what happened at night? No. Why? Because there is light, or we can see that the second picture, it is a morning, right? Okay. Now, where are they standing? The doctor and his friends are standing near his house or his room. Who are there with the doctor? His friends, right? Why have they come there? And we can make it more clear or concrete, more concrete, clearer or more concrete. Let us read the story once again. You don't forget to read with me. Fear. Each of us gave a sigh of relief. All of us lit beadies. Somebody asked, Doctor, is your wife very fat? No, the doctor said, God willed otherwise. My life companion is a thin, reedy person with the gift of a sprinter. Someone else asked, Doctor, when you ran, did the snake follow you? The doctor replied, I ran and ran till I reached a friend's house. Immediately I smeared oil all over myself and took a bath. I changed into fresh clothes. The next morning at about 8:30, I took my friend and one or two others to my room to move my things from there. But we found we had little to carry. Some thief had removed most of my things. The room had been cleaned out, but not really. The thief had left behind one thing as a final insult. What was that? I asked. The doctor said, my vest, the dirty one. The fellow had such a sense of cleanliness. The rascal could have taken it and used it after washing it with soap and water. Did you see the snake the next day, doctor? The doctor laughed. Have never seen it since. It was a snake which was taken with his own beauty. Well, dears, you have got all the answers for all the questions we raised. Now, try to answer this. Where were they standing? Near his room or his house. Were they with the doctor or his friends? We have already discussed it. What did find his room was cleaned by some thief or burglar, right? How was the doctor's wife? She is really a thin person, right? Now, let us know more about the story. See, it was a snake which was taken with its own beauty. Why does the doctor say so? What does that mean? We can read the story again silently. You don't forget to know the important words, right? Okay, you got it. Now try to answer the simple question. Few. What does that few mean? Few is an interjection to show a relief that can be it can be of that sense. And when did they heave a sigh of relief? When the doctor said that the snake hadn't hurt him, then they heaved a sigh of relief. Then what they do? They lit beads. And is the doctor's wife very fat? No. How she? She is a thin, greedy person who can run very fast. When the doctor ran, did the snake follow him? No. Where did the doctor run to? He ran to his friend's house. What did he do then? He spread oil all over himself and took a bath. Then he changed into fresh clothes. And when did he come back to his room? the next morning at about 8:30. Who were there with him? His friend and one or two others. Why did he come? To move his things from there. But what did they find there? There was nothing to carry because why? Because a thief had removed most of his things, and the room had been cleaned out. Really, had the room been cleaned out? No. Only one thing was there. One thing had been left out. What was that? We can see it was his vest. How was his vest? A dirty one. What quality of a thief does the doctor mention? Sense of cleanliness. According to doctor, how could have the thief used his vest? He should have used it after washing with soap and water. Did you see the snake again? No. It was a snake attracted by its own beauty. Okay? Now you got it. Now let us try to answer the scaffolding questions. First question. Why did the doctor run to his friend's house? You know, that is quite simple. You can write it yourself. Did the snake harm the doctor? That too, very simple. You know that. Write it and compare the answers with the ones in the note. Why? Next, the thief had left behind one thing as a final insult. What was the insult? That too, you can write it yourself. After writing, don't forget to compare your answers, the ones in the notes given along with this attached with this video. Okay, now let us discuss the story in detail. Phew, each of us heaved a sigh of relief. Before that, let us see the words in this part. Heave means produce a sigh. Porappadikka, right? Sigh means you can see that a long, deep, audible exhalation expressing sadness, relief, tiredness, or similar. Lit means set fire to, kathikka. Forms is a light, lit, right? Will, when it is a verb, indent, uddeshikka, തീരുമാനിക്കുക, കാരണം അർത്ഥം തീരുമാനിക്കുക, right? Otherwise, in a different way, reedy means tall and thin like a reed. Okay, it's a plant, you know that, yeah. And here it means of a person, that means tall and reed. Sprinter means an athlete who races over short distances. You know that, sprinter. Immediately, at once, ordinary. Smear, to spread oil or cream. വ്യാപിക്കുക, പരട്ടുക, മൊത്തമായി പരട്ടുക, ദേഹത്ത് പരട്ടുക. Insult means a disrespectful or scornfully abusive remark or act. അപമാനം, you know. Very simple, yes. Few, we have discussed. Few is an interjection that shows relief. Oh, just like that. Each of us, all his friends, produced a sigh of relief, or they sighed of relief because the doctor completed the story and it had a good ending. That's why they heaved a sigh of relief. And they lit beads. And then someone asked, Doctor, is your wife very fat? He wanted to know whether the doctor's wife was very fat. Doctor replied negatively, no, God decided otherwise. His life companion, his wife, his better half, was a thin, reedy person, thin and tall person, the gift of a sprinter who can run very fast over short distances, right? We can see a contrast here. That is when he was sitting in front of the mirror. You remember that he dreamed of a fat wife with plenty of money and good medical practice. That's a contrast. dream and reality. That's a contract, right? Someone has asked, Doctor, when you ran, did the snake follow you? Then again, one was sitting there and asked that when the doctor ran, did the snake run behind him or after him? Run after him? The doctor replied, he ran. He didn't look back till he reached his friend's house. Instantly, immediately, he applied, he spread oil all over his body and took a bath because the snake has coiled or had coiled around his arm and changed to fresh cloth. Only the next morning, at about 8:30, they came back to his room. There were his friend was there and one or two others were there. Why did they come there? To move his things from there. But they found nothing except his dirty vest, right? Because had nothing to carry. Little to carry means nothing, almost nothing. It is a negative word, you know that. And so what had happened? Some thief had removed most of his things. Thief, Karlan, right? The room had been cleaned up. It was cleaned, but not really. One was left there. One had been left there as a final insult. What was that? See, that was the doctor's vest, which was dirty. And he says the fellow had such a sense of cleanliness. Cleanliness, you see, the state of quality of being clean or being kept clean. Shujittam, Shujitta Shujittam, that is cleanliness. Rascal, mischievous and cheeky person was taken with the idiom that is highly attracted to someone or something. Only some words are there. The rascal could have taken it and used it after washing it with soap and water. He says, the rascal, that thief, that mischievous person could have taken it. Sense of cleanliness, yes, I think you got it. That is Shujitta Bodham, right? Even though the protagonist is a doctor, he had no such a sense. That's why it is an insult here. Okay? The rascal could have taken it, the thief could have taken it and used it after washing it with soap and water, but he left it there. Then again, another one asked, did you see the snake the next day, doctor? Then he said, no. Laughed and said, he had never seen it since. It was a snake which was attracted by its own beauty. Very nice story it is. A frightening story blended with the humor. That is the skill of our veteran writer, Vaikam Muhammad Bashir. Hope you have enjoyed it, right? Now let us see the main ideas. When the snake slowly crept onto the table and moved towards the mirror, the doctor felt relieved and he ran away from her. When he came back the next morning from his friend's house, he saw that his house was looted, right? Robbed, or his house was, a thief has taken away all the things by some burglars. Only his dirty vest was left behind. He thought it was a snake which was taken with its own beauty. The seemingly dangerous situation, that's all is made, but the message is that the seemingly dangerous situation of the snake coiling around the doctor's arm gives him a shudder. He shuddered, that's right, but his unfaltering optimism combined with unusual sense of humor helped him survive the ordeal. Ordeal means the painful experience. Okay, that's all yes. Now, friends, the doctor narrated this incident to his friends. Suppose one of them narrates it to his mother. How would it be? Write it. Okay, this is a narrative. We know how to write a narrative. We have discussed it twice later. Still, you can see what are the events. You close your eyes and think of the important incidents. It will come into your mind certainly. Where and when do they happen? The incidents happen. The time and place, that is setting. who are the characters, what they see here, the senses, images and other images, and there should be good opening and ending, there should be good variety of sense. You can do it because you have done it. The sample answer is given, sample right narrative is given there. Now see, if you were the doctor, would you try to kill the snake? Yes or no? Why didn't the doctor try to kill? Does it leave any message? See, that is activity 3, page number 229. In the story, the snake didn't harm the homeopath. The homeopath intended didn't hurt it, keeping Bashi's vision on nature and its beings comment on this story. Right? I'll help you. You can consider these points. What did Bashir write about? In the first video we have discussed. You remember that? What is Bashir's vision on nature and its being? You know, all creatures or every creature has equal right for the resources on the earth, right? Man is only one another, right? Then, did the snake harm the homeopath? You know, did the homeopath hurt it? You know, what does it reveal? We should live in peace and harmony, right? Does it leave any message? Certainly. It reveals the writer's, that is Bashi's love for nature, and we too should live likewise like that, and we should love nature. And combining these things or combining the answers of these questions, you may write a short paragraph or a short writer. You have to do it, and the sample answer is given there. You can check your answers with the one given in the notes attached with this one. Okay, right. Now please collect similar stories in English or Malayalam showing the harmony of nature. I think it is the first story itself, Adventures in a Banyan Tree. This is just like this. And Bhumida Avagashikal, we discussed once, or we mentioned it once, and then such many stories you can get, and you have to try to collect it, and when you get time you have to read it. Okay, now please we can see the whole story.
By Vaikom Muhammad Bashir. It is the story of a doctor who has just started his medical practice. He earns a meager income and lives in a small rented room, which is an outhouse with a tiled roof. The beam on which the gavel is supported is full of rats, which keep moving in and out of the room. The room has no electricity supply. One summer night, the doctor takes his dinner at a restaurant and returns home. As the doctor opens the door of his room, he hears a noise from above, but he does not react because he is used to such noises. He lights the kerosene lamp, takes off his coat, shirt and vest, and opens the windows. He takes out a medical book from the table drawer to read. He keeps it on the table on which a lamp, a large mirror, and a small comb are placed. He opens the book and sits down. As he is sitting in a chair in front of the mirror, he looks at his image. He thinks that, as he is not married and is a doctor too, he should look handsome to get a better match for himself. He decides to shave daily, grow a thin mustache, and keep an attractive smile on his face. Gradually, his thoughts shift from self-admiration to planning for his marriage. He thinks that he would marry a rich doctor having a good practice. He would choose a fat lady as his wife so that she would not be able to run fast and catch him in case she chases him for doing some mistakes. He's so engrossed in daydreaming that he does not pay attention to the sudden silence. The rats have stopped scampering and there is a sound of something falling behind him. It happens so instantly that he does not get any time to react. By the time he turns around to see, a snake has wriggled over the back of the chair and lands on his shoulders. It coils around his left arm so firmly that his arm starts aching. It is a dangerous cobra with its hood spreading out, hardly 3 inches from his face. He sits there like a He thinks of various medicines he has to take in case the snake bites him. In this moment of fear of death, he realizes that God has punished him for being too proud and arrogant. The moment he accepts his true worth, the snake turns his head and looks into the mirror. The doctor thinks that maybe the snake is attracted towards its own beauty. That is why it is looking so carefully in the mirror. Slowly, it crawls off his body and creeps onto the table and moves towards the mirror, as if to enjoy its reflection in the mirror closely. As soon as the snake gets down from him, he quietly gets up from the chair, leaps through the yard and runs away to his friend's house. The next day in the morning, the doctor along with his two friends goes to his room to bring out his belongings from there. The room has been cleaned out. Some thief had removed most of his things the previous night and left behind his dirty vest, maybe to insult him.
Okay, very nice, dears. I think you got all the story, the whole story. Okay, now hope you have learned and enjoyed the story. It is really interesting, dears. You have to read it many times. Thank you for watching. Meet you again. Till then, goodbye.